Well, good morning and thank you so much for joining us on Up with KREM. I'm Channing Curtis. The Washington state vaccine mandate officially goes into effect today, and many state workers are now finding themselves out of a job, including WSU's head football coach, Nick Rolovich. So this morning, we do have team coverage for you on Up with KREM. Tim Pham is alive down in Pullman this morning, breaking down Rolovich's exit and, of course, explaining what the future holds for the Cougs. But first up, let's go ahead and send things over to Jeremy Legou, who is in the Outdoor Weather Center. Jeremy's giving us a look at what to expect on this very chilly fall morning. Good morning, Tim. Jeremy, goodness.
Oh, hi, Channing. Good morning. Thanks for joining me out here. It is a little bit chilly. 41 degrees right now, and we are likely getting a little bit cooler here as we move through the next hour or so. Typically, that 7 o'clock hour going to be the coldest of our entire day. That's because the sun comes up at about 7:15. It doesn't crest the mountains till about 7:30, and we don't really start feeling its impacts until about 8 o'clock. So for now, just know temperatures are going to drop a little more. 38 in Coeur d'Alene, 43 in Sandpoint, 33 in Moses Lake, and 42 in Wenatchee. When it comes to our cloud cover, there's none. Or our rain, there's none. There's really nothing going on across the inland Northwest, and it remains that way all day long. Even as the sun sets, it's going to be sunny. Tomorrow we'll see clouds build in early in the day and then rain as we get into the latter half of the morning. It's late morning rain that quickly moves through and moves out, pretty light in nature, and then it opens the door for more clearing and warming as we get into the day on Thursday. So for now, just know temperatures, even with tomorrow's rain, remain well above normal. And today we'll dip into the 30s before we climb into the mid-60s under sunny skies later this afternoon.
Well, it's our big story of the day as Nick Rolovich is no longer the head coach for the WSU football team as the Washington state COVID-19 vaccine mandate takes effect. Weeks of questions and speculation are now answered as the university and athletic department made the announcement Monday afternoon. Tim Pham is live in Pullman this morning, and he's breaking down Rolovich's exit and, of course, telling us what this means for the Cougars going forward. Good morning, Tim.
Hey, good morning to you, Channing. You know, this has been all the buzz on campus for the last several months and really ramped up as we inch closer to the October 18th deadline for the vaccine mandate. You know, right now, Nick Rolovich's 3-game winning streak that he was on really overshadowed by the vaccine mandate and his decision not to follow the mandate. So let's talk about how we got to this point and what led up to Rolovich's firing last night. So this all really began back in July. That's when we first heard from Rolovich in a press conference. He announced that he would not be getting the COVID vaccine for private reasons. He said then he would not be commenting on the issue further. But then fast forward to August, Governor Jay Inslee announced most Washington state employees must be vaccinated against COVID-19, including higher education workers. And that's where the pressure really began on Rolovich because he fell into that required category to be vaccinated. Not to mention, he was the state's highest paid employee in Washington. WSU released a statement saying they applauded the governor's decision and will work to ensure the mandate is followed. However, Rolovich remained brief when asked about the mandate. He would simply say that he was following the mandate but wouldn't comment any further. And then as the October 18th deadline approached, Rolovich continued to say that he was following the process. Shortly after, Rolovich's mentor went public saying Rolo was applying for a religious exemption. In a press conference after last Saturday's game, Rolovich said the decision was out of his hands.
Do you know if you'll be coaching here next week?
I do not. I don't have my phone. I didn't check my email after the game. I don't think this is in my hands. So I've been settled for a long time on it, and I believe it's going to work out the right way.
Several players from WSU made it clear they stood behind Rolovich's decision and they wanted to see him continue as their head coach. And then that leads us up to Monday, where Rolovich was officially fired as the head coach of Washington State University for not following the mandate. Now, it wasn't just Rolovich. Rolovich was fired along with 4 of his assistant coaches on the team. And then WSU President Kirk Scholes and Athletic Director Pat Chun held a press conference late last last night after this all went down. And then Pat Chun expressing remorse for the team and all they have been through in the last year, but also taking full responsibility for the situation and for hiring Rolovich.
As a director of athletics and steward of this department, I take full ownership and responsibility for hiring Nick. In January of 2020, based on all the information we had at the time, including extensive references and conversations with knowledgeable football experts, we believe we found the perfect fit and a long-term solution for Washington State football. Unfortunately, we stand here today having to make a transition.
Since Rolovich and the other coaches were fired with cause, the university does not have to pay them any money from the buyout, which is huge in their search for a new head coach. Rolovich was given an opportunity in a last-ditch effort to get vaccinated before he was let go. However, Chun says getting the vaccine was not an option in Rolovich's eyes.
We've had conversations that date back months. So, I mean, he was resolute in his stance, and he's ready to make a choice. That choice did not put him in compliance with this proclamation from the governor, and that's why we sit here today.
The 4 assistant coaches fired were Ricky Logo, John Richardson, Craig Stutzman, and Mark Weber. It's not known if Rolovich had the chance to say goodbye to the team or even address them before his exit. But after Chun met with him on Monday afternoon, Chun says Rolovich left his office immediately. Chun made it clear the Cougs need to support Cougs and show up for the team after everything they've been through.
I am making a heartfelt ask to Cougs to unify around this football team and give them the support and love they need to get through this season. I'm saddened for our football alumni and to all the proud Cougs all over the world for the fracturing that has transpired over the past few months. We need to infuse compassion, empathy, and unity back into our WSU community, and that healing process needs to begin immediately.
So the new man in charge for the WSU football program is going to be their interim coach, who was the defensive coordinator, Jake Dickert. So who is he and what is his background that makes him qualified to step into this role? We asked those questions at that press conference, and our sports director, Travis Green, has the very latest on what's next for the Cougar football program.
We know Rolovich is out. The question now, who will take over? Washington State announced it will be defensive coordinator Jake Dickert. Dickert arrived as part of Rolovich's staff in 2020 and turned things around on his side of the ball. Last season, the rushing defense averaged 30 yards less per game from the 2019 season. However, WSU ranks 8th in points given up per game in the Pac-12 this season, so not doing so well this year. Dickert has 14 seasons of college football coaching experience. His most recent stop before Pullman was at the University of Wyoming, where he coached for 3 seasons and was the defensive coordinator for the Cowboys in 2019. So not a lot of time being in charge of a unit, but it is worth noting his 2019 Wyoming defense was ranked 11th in the country against the run. Here's Washington State President Kirk Schultz on Dickert taking over as interim head coach.
I'm really eager to have Coach Dickert standing in and serving as our acting coach. What a tough assignment for him and the rest of our coaches working with our student athletes during this time of change. But I have confidence that Jake will do the job.
We did a little digging, and you can see the now interim coach Jacob Dickert tweeted about getting vaccinated way back on May 7th, saying, "We all have a choice, but I am proud to do my part to stop the spread." In the end, his choice led to quite the opportunity for the 38-year-old. And also worth noting, the tweet was pinned to the top of his profile. Washington State will be holding a press conference for Dickert at 12:30 on Tuesday. No players will be made available to media this week. Reporting in the studio, Travis Green.
Travis, thanks so much. You know, it'll be really interesting what Jake Dickert has to say at that press conference. We expect him to talk about unifying the team and moving forward as a team. Really interesting. Jacob DeLora, obviously the quarterback of the WSU football program, tweeting out a long statement last night saying that the Cougar football program has never been about one person or one name on the back of a jersey. And we kind of expect that same message and energy from the interim head coach, talking about filling Martin Stadium and really getting that excitement back around this team. Now, if you would like the very latest on Rolovich's firing and what's next for the WSU football program, you can text the keyword Rolo to the number 509-448-2000. We'll send a link directly to your phone with everything you need to know about how we got to this point. Reporting live from Washington State University's campus in Pullman, I'm Tim Pham. Back to you in the studio.
All right, thanks, Tim. Now, of course, this morning we know you have a lot of thoughts about the firing of Coach Rolovich. So we want to hear from you. Do you think that he should have been fired for not getting vaccinated? You can text us your thoughts at 509-448-2000. You can also vote in our live Twitter poll, where right now 94.4% of you are saying yes. Just 5.6% are saying no. Again, you can text us why or why not you feel that way at 509-448-2000. We will be taking a look at your responses all morning long here on Up with KREM. Thousands of pumpkins are sold every year, but after Halloween, what should you do with them? After the break, our Verified team smashed the viral trend of feeding them to wildlife and why you should donate the pumpkins to a local zoo.
We're going to take you outside and we're going to talk about a shift in our weather pattern. Warm and sunny today, a chance of rain tomorrow, but cooler as we head into the weekend.
A TV reporter skating his way to viral sensation. Details coming up in our next half hour in Speed Feed.